Hello superstars, this is Mrs. Logan. Fall is my favorite season, and today we're going to be taking an adventure that has to do with fall. See if you can guess what our adventure is going to be about today. Where we are today. We are at the Carlsbad pumpkin patch right here at the strawberry fields in Carlsbad. And check out these giant pumpkins. And look at this guy. He looks like he might weigh like 80 pounds. He's ginormous. Look at all these cool pumpkins inside. We're going to get a close look at the cleaning here. All the different shapes and sizes and kinds of pumpkins that are growing right here in Southern California. Pumpkins. This is the owner or manager at the Carlsbad Pumpkin Patch. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you tell me how we have all these different styles of pumpkins?
They're all different varieties. These are Cinderella's, so they're known as blue pumpkins right over there. You have the little ones, which are the cannonball pumpkins, and over there you got your regular jack-o'-lantern. And then obviously you have the really huge, variety over here. Some are Atlantic and prize winners, and they all come in different shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
They're all grown around here locally. Some are homegrown right there. The giant ones are all from here.
Yeah.
And then some are coming up from Central California to Northern California.
Okay. Do you know how many different varieties of pumpkins there are?
Exactly, no.
No.
There's a ton.
Lots.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
we just
they
learned.
come like in different. It's the same Cinderella, but they come in different colors as well.
Okay. We just learned last week about apples, and there are 7,500 different kinds of apples, varieties.
That's a lot.
I know.
And we have apple launchers, actually, apple cannons.
Oh, you do?
We
Cool.
that.
Check that out, guys. You
We
can
have
launch
apple cannons
apples.
here. Yeah. You launch apples into the target, and if you hit the bell that's out there, you get a free shirt.
Oh, you get a free shirt?
You get a free shirt. So come on and check us out.
Come out and check out at the Carlsbad Strawberry Fields, the pumpkin patch. There's a corn maze. There's kettle corn. There's
Shaved ice. You have the pumpkin patch. We have a haunted corn maze on Fridays and Saturdays.
nice.
Regular maze 7 days a week. Bounce land and tractor run.
Love it. These guys right here, just another variety. They're so
Yes, these are called knuckleheads.
appropriate.
Kind of a funny name, right? But they're knuckleheads. They have warts on them.
Yeah. Very cool. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm super grateful to Paco for showing me around, and also for donating 3 great pumpkins for our experiment today. When I went home, I looked up to see how many different kinds of varieties of pumpkins there are, and there are actually 45 different varieties. Here's just a few. The little jack-o'-lantern I've seen a lot of, and the Aladdin pumpkins. The sugar pie I've heard people use for baking. But I think my favorites might be the Cinderella pumpkins and the knuckleheads. So while I was looking up pumpkins on Google, I found out some cool facts. Let's see if you know the answers to these questions. Is a pumpkin a fruit or a vegetable? You might be surprised to find out a pumpkin is a fruit. They're considered fruits because they have seeds inside them, just like a watermelon. Pumpkins are very healthy for you. They're high in antioxidants. They have a lot of vitamin C and vitamin A, as well as potassium, and they come in many different shapes and sizes. Let's watch this short video and see how pumpkins grow.
My name is Nick Franick. I am a farmhand and administrative assistant here at McGrath Brothers Great Pacific Pumpkins. Our pumpkins are shipped out all over Southern California, and they even make their way into Nevada and Las Vegas. And we grow over 1 million pounds of pumpkins every year. It takes about 4 to 5 months to finish the entire process of the growth of the pumpkin. We start all the way back in March with the ordering of the seed. It can go all the way into April before we get it. Ground prep, which means we take the big tractors out and rip up the ground and get it ready to bed down, starts in late April throughout May. We start to plant the seeds at the end of May through June, all the way to the beginning of July. For the first 2 weeks, we keep the irrigation above ground through sprinkler systems. After that 2 to 2.5 week period, we lay drip tape down, which is much more efficient in terms of water use. For the rest of the pumpkin's growth cycle, it is fed through drip irrigation. All of its nutrients, including phosphorus and nitrogen, is pumped through the water. Each one of these goldenrod flowers produces a small bulb at the base of the flower, and each one of these flowers eventually becomes a pumpkin. Every year, natural pollination is not quite enough to provide all of the plants with enough pollination, so we actually have to bring in bee boxes and we set them out around the property, and the bees do their thing. And without those bees, we would not have the pumpkins that you see today. By the beginning of September, we need to cut and roll our pumpkins into rows. We need to be able to get the large semi-trucks into the field. We have crews of 20 to 30 guys out in the field at a time, going one by one, pumpkin by pumpkin, and picking every single one with a pair of loppers that you'd use in your own backyard, cutting every pumpkin off the vine. If we have leftover pumpkins in a given year, we try and fulfill as many donations to charitable causes as we can, and the remainder of them go to our local Santa Barbara Zoo, where they're used to feed a variety of animals, almost all of them treated as a delightful autumn snack.
So today we are going to be doing the scientific method with our pumpkins. I'm going to ask you a question, and you're going to make a prediction. We're going to then construct a hypothesis, do an experiment, analyze the data, and draw some conclusions. Scientists use the scientific method as a process for experimenting and trying to answer questions they have about things in our world. So, your first question is this: how many pumpkin seeds do you predict will be in each of these 5 pumpkins? We have a knucklehead pumpkin. We have a white acorn pumpkin, a jack-o'-lantern, a cannonball pumpkin, and a Cinderella. So your challenge number 1, write down your prediction of how many seeds will be in each pumpkin. Pause the video now and write down this list of 5 pumpkins and make your estimates on how many seeds will be in each one. I knew all this carving and counting of seeds was going to take a lot of work, so I called in my neighbor to help. The knucklehead ended up having 522 seeds. It had about 100 more than I had predicted. How close were you? All right, check out my little white acorn pumpkin. It is absolutely packed with seeds. I can't wait to see how many are inside here. Again, I had underestimated. There were 77 more seeds in this little pumpkin than I expected. How close was your prediction? You've got to see what's inside my jack-o'-lantern. Whoa! Look at all those sprouts. Oh my goodness, they look just like those bean sprouts that I get when I order Chinese food. That is awesome. But it doesn't look like there's as many pumpkin seeds, just a lot more bean sprouts. Oh, this one's going to be easy to pull out. Wild. So in the end, there was 334 seeds in my jack-o'-lantern, way below my prediction of 650. How close were you? My cannonball had 321 seeds. Again, I was way low in my estimate. How about you? Observation I want to let you know. When I cut this Cinderella pumpkin, it was so easy to slice. It was almost like slicing bread. So easy compared to the knucklehead and the white acorn. And look at how orange inside. The seeds are a little bit smaller and darker in color than what I found in my other two pumpkins so far. Time to count. So the Cinderella pumpkin had about 100 less pumpkin seeds than I had predicted. Were you close? So here are my final counts. I had guessed there would be 420 seeds in my knucklehead. There were actually 522. My white acorn, I had guessed 220 seeds, and there were 297. I had estimated 650 in my big jack-o'-lantern, and there was only 334. And the cannonball? I guessed 240, and there was a whopping 321. Lastly, the Cinderella, I guessed 540, and there were only 438. In all, the hypothesis that I came up with was the bigger the pumpkin, the more seeds it would have. But in reality, that wasn't necessarily true. I thought there would be way more pumpkin seeds in the jack-o'-lantern pumpkin compared to the cannonball pumpkin. But in reality, there was only 13 more seeds inside the jack-o'-lantern. Now that we have all these seeds, it's time to plant them. So I have 5 cups for 5 different kinds of seeds. Now, if you have a pumpkin at home and can cut it up and get the seeds out, you can also do this experiment. You could also use an apple seed or an avocado pit and try a different kind of fruit. You heard that right, an avocado is a fruit. I added holes to the bottom of my cups so that water can drain through. I'm going to add 2 seeds to each cup. I've also labeled each cup so I know which kind of pumpkin seed is going into each. Add some water to each cup and put them in the sun. And after about a week, you should see some pumpkin leaves sprouting through. So for our third challenge, we are going to be estimating and then finding out the actual circumference or distance around each of our pumpkins. Okay, circumference is a really big word. Simply put, it's the area around an object or the perimeter around a shape. So let's start with our knucklehead. What do you think? What's a guess, a prediction of how far around this knucklehead will be? And we're going to measure it using a string, and then we're going to take that string and put it up against either a ruler or maybe you have a measuring tape at home. So I'm going to predict, maybe 30 inches is going to be my circumference. Let's see how close I was. And I'm going to hold it up to my measuring tape. Oh my gosh. It fit perfectly on my yardstick. 36 inches. Okay, let's try our white acorn squash. This one, my prediction is going to be much smaller than my 30. I'm going to go with 9 inches. Let's see what this one comes out as. I'm surprised. It came out at 16. That is larger than I thought. Okay, big jack-o'-lantern. Well, let's see, compared to this one. I'm gonna say, I think they're pretty close. I'm gonna guess 36 inches. That's my estimate. All right, now let's actually see. Oh, it is the same as the knucklehead. It is 36 inches. Wow. All right, let's look at the cannonball. Much smaller. Oh, when I compare it to my white acorn, the white acorn was 16. I'm gonna go with 18 inches. Mm, 15 and a half. Huh, 15 and a half. It's actually smaller than my white acorn. Huh, interesting. And the last one, our Cinderella pumpkin. Whoa. Well, I think it's probably a little bit bigger than those. I'm gonna go with 38. 38 inches. Oh, it's bigger than my measuring stick. Look at that. I'm gonna have to use this instead. Let's see if I put it up against this. Yep. Better do that again, just to make sure I got the right. All right. All right. Ooh. 41 and a half. What did I say? Oh, 38. 41.5 inches. Finding the circumference of an object was actually pretty fun. Maybe you can find some objects around your house and compare the different circumferences between them. Now we're all done with our experiments. One last fun thing to do with pumpkin seeds is to eat them. So maybe you have a recipe at home and you can bake them up and enjoy them. I want to give a big shout out to the Carlsbad Strawberry Company, who have donated over 150,000 pounds of produce to families all across North County, San Diego since March. They are actually able to feed 750 families each week with fresh produce. I hope you had fun experimenting with our pumpkins and have a safe and happy Halloween. I'll see you next week.